Howdy, Signing Sheriff here, with Cass over here, and Ember is over there and is probably going to start acting up soon. But anyway, I wanted to do this, I guess you could call it episode.
My idea.
It's Cass's idea, but I don't know what you would call these videos things. Anyway, this one is talking about the different types of Satanism.
There is more types of Satanism. This is just the more popular one.
Yeah. So I wanted to make sure that something is made clear at the start of this video. This list that I made was using Google to find the general explanations to each version that are listed. These are only a few that popped up from Google. So if your type is not included in this list, please add your type explanation to that type in the comment section below. I read every comment, and if you add your type, I will see it, I will research it, and I will then add a new video explaining the one that was added in the comments. Second, there is one type of Satanism that will not be included in the list because it's kind of stupid. I don't want to call it that, but really it's just emo Satanism. It's teenagers calling themselves Satanists and acting stupid.
For like a short period of time for shock value.
Yeah. Like I said, it's kind of just a emo Satanism. I don't remember if it has a specific name.
Reactive Satanism.
Reactive. So I'm not including that in the list. I explained it a little bit here because I wanted to make sure I was not just it entirely, but it's not in the list that I have. And yes, I have my computer over here so I can read what's happening. So, first, and probably the most common, is one that has the most names, actually. I'm going to add them across the screen instead of trying to sign them because... So, first, atheistic Satanism, as you can see on the screen right now. Second, rational Satanism. Sorry, the words probably dropped off the screen right there, but one name for it that I don't know how to pronounce. This. So, if you can, I don't know how to say it. Sorry. If I refer to that, I'm going to call it Lev. Because that's the best I get. So, these three names are all apparently attributed to the same type. Basically, they are the ones that Cass was back when. I don't believe in God, Satan, angels, blah, 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 blah. None of that. But as a symbol figure of me rebelling against the standard general belief system, I'm going to use Satan as a symbol of rebellion. That's the most common type that people see. But that is not the normal. Pause for a second. Diabolism. So, sorry for that little. But, so that is one out of two more common. Now, here's the funny part. That pause, we actually had to do a little bit of research on the fly. So, our type of Satanism actually has a few subsets under it. We have one type of this. There are other types, and one of these types is actually the most common, which it kind of probably explains why people get them confused. So our type of Satanism is called theistic or spiritual. Now, you maybe remember that I said that there are a few different, I'm going to spell the word, then give it a specific sign so I don't have to continue spelling it every time. So, subset. I'm going to call that subset. So, subset. So, you remember that I said that there's a few different subsets of spiritual Satanism. But that kind of makes it a little bit confusing at times. So, like, for example, our version. I was raised as a extremely strict believer in the Bible. KJV specifically, by the way. He was
Baptist.
Kind of raised Bible believer in a way, but we two have different reasons for why we veered off. For example,
Mine was kind of more like upsetting, but
so now this is to me this is kind of funny actually. So you've probably already noticed this. I am the more mentally focused.
I'm the more
Cass is the more
one.
emotionally focused. Cass's reason for veering away from Bible believer is emotional. My reason is mental. So, Cass, you explain that part because that's you. So, another cut as I had to help Cass understand exactly what I meant when I said that he was going to explain his version.
Okay, events in my childhood made me call out to God, but I got no answer.
So, I explained to Cass that he didn't have to explain super specific details. So he's trying to say the exact phrase that I described.
Not so pleasant things happen to me.
So Cass is apparently not horrifically good at explaining himself. But basically, it's kind of the same thing as my childhood. I was raised strict Bible believer. I was not really allowed to have a mind of my own. So, almost the same kind of problem here. Cass grew up seeing one thing and being taught another. So, growing up, Cass experienced one thing. It's kind of like how Bible believers will say that they believe this, but their actions say they believe something completely different. Same thing here. Say this, do this. Very much what Cass experienced. They'll say this, we believe this. We want you to do this. But in actuality, they do this. And it caused a very understandable, what? If you believe this, why are you not doing this? And then the very understandable result was basically, and he can correct me if I'm wrong about this, but the way that I've always heard it whenever he explains it to me is basically, if this is the type of God that these people believe in, who I have, he can explain, he can confirm this if he wants. I have tried praying to this God. I have watched this God's followers, blah, 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 blah. I have seen nothing to make me think that this God actually loves his people. Correct?
Yeah.
So, events happen, situations happen. Being able to see, watch, experience different good, bad, and ugly things over the course of life, and having no, like, for example, I have had situations in the past where I asked God for something, and I've never, to this day, seen any suggestion that God's even paying attention. Same thing. Pray to God for an answer. Pray to God for an explanation. Pray to God for help. Whatever the exact situation is, nothing. Silence. So, with that being said, that's the atheistic. So, my reason for veering was because I'm paying too much attention to the Bible. I know it more than most people do. And I've found many reasons why I don't think that the Bible makes sense. it says people believe, should I say. The Bible does not say, but people believe, fill in the blank. But if you look in the Bible, it says something different. Okay, so I started to doubt, question. Then, when Cass started explaining the Satanist viewpoint, I started to notice that the attributed characteristics, for example, all-knowing, all-loving, all-powerful, blah, 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 appeared to be attributed to the wrong character. So that's why I switched. But the problem is, whereas our two reasons for detaching, our two reasons for veering off, probably are two of the most normal reasons for becoming a Satanist. It's at this point going forward that we two start to become a little bit different than the other two subsets. For example, do we actually worship Satan?
The Christian Satan.
Yeah, specifically the Christian version. No. That's where the first difference pops up. And that is actually the complete reason for this video. So, Cass and I believe that Satan, well, first thing, and I want to make sure I comment on this very clearly, the actual name for the character connected with this idea, most people call him Satan. Duh. But his actual name is Lucifer.
And Lucifer is the Roman god of light.
So, and here's one of those things that this actually makes me mad. I'm going to try to keep myself cool. So, we're supposed to, or according to most people nowadays, we're all supposed to find our beliefs from the Bible, right? Well, would you find it a little bit strange if I told you that this character's actual name only pops up in the Bible once? So, if I'm supposed to believe this book, why is it only calling him by his correct name once? The translators invented a new name for the character to try to attach wickedness to him. Satan means opposer.
Baby.
So the name is not actually correct. That's the first problem that I have. But we actually believe that the character or deity, the deity Lucifer,
Baby.
we don't worship the Christian version.
We worship the pagan.
Which is the father of all evil.
Baby.
We worship, as Cass was saying, the pagan version, which is the god of light. I think the Bible refers to it as, was it called the angel of light?
That's the Christian version.
Yeah. The Christian style, it calls him the angel of light. So almost the same idea, but it kind of veers away a little bit. So the two normal subsets are the version that worships Satan or Satan. The difference is Satanism worships the Christian style, actually worships the wicked version from Christianity.
The Diabloism.
Yeah. So it's sometimes called Diabolism. I can't remember how to spell it.
That's the one that worships the devil in the
Yeah.
Christian version.
So our version believes that all the attributes, the characteristics of the Christian God are actually supposed to be attributed to Lucifer. That's how we believe. So then, going back to the original idea, then you have the Satanic Temple, which, as best as I can think, is supposed to be a
atheistic
activist group. I don't know what the sign for activist is.
It's an atheistic, like, politic.
Yeah, it's based more in politics than anything else. But they still use Satan as a symbol again.
Yes.
But they're more political, and I'm not very political. Kaz is a little bit more than I am, but still not focused on it and trying to apply Satan to politics. So, yeah. Then you got one that I think is a little bit a teensy bit strange, but it's kind of understandable at the same time. It's called esoteric, sometimes called occult. Part of this is often applied to the most well-known versions of Satanism, which is we worship the actual deity Satan in the Christian style. This version tries to mix, whatever you want to call it. The first word that I used was blend. Magic means.
It's also called the Temple of Set.
Yeah. I'm not entirely sure why they call themselves that, but the Temple of Set. Because isn't Set an Egyptian god? Oh, no. Set is another name for Seth from the Bible. Okay, I think I understand it now. So, yeah, this is characteristics from this type often get applied to other types. And honestly, I guess I kind of almost fall into this group in a way. I'm not occultic, but I do want to involve myself in things like tarot, runes, and so on, just because I've always enjoyed that stuff. But it's not specifically because I'm a Satanist. It's because I just like it, and I found out that they sometimes are connected. Okay. Now, I added this one into the list, but it's I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing it right, first of all. Second, I don't think almost any Satanists get into this particular group. Hopefully this is not still around right now, because if it is, woo, this is dangerous. This last group is called the Order of Nine, and this is where I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. Angles? I have to think that it's supposed to be pronounced as angles, like in math.
It said that it was similar to the Satanic Temple, but I don't think it is, because they said it is political, but it said that it was compared to violence and neo-Nazis.
Yeah. So, the reason why I think this group is a little bit, is because this group is almost completely designed for what I would call becoming zealots. So, you see why I think that this group is a little bit, I'm not saying that they are willing to kill, but the Google search specifically said that they are, that's not a V, violent. And I added that word across the screen because I spelled it wrong. So I'm not entirely sure exactly what this group is, where it's from, or anything like that, but I included it because it popped up in the search.
We do not like this group, okay? We don't.
Would not back up this group because the version of Satanism that we are involved in believes, in justice.
Yes.
Which explains why I'm constantly annoyed at the world around me. So, that is a look at some of the more normal, some of the not so known, and some that I've never even heard of until now. But just so you know, we don't worship the Christian version of Satan. We don't even worship Satan. We worship Lucifer.
Lucifer, Lilith, and Batman. Then we're dabbling into some demons.
Yeah. So, hopefully this helped a little bit. If you're wanting a little bit more of an explanation, please let me know. I will be more than happy to break down each one and give a better explanation behind them. This was just supposed to be a look of all of them. So hopefully you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. And instead of happy trails, I will say, Hail Satan.
Say.